Hello, my name is Marshall Goldsmith. I'm an executive educator, I'm an executive coach, and I'm an author. I am very excited to talk about our 100 Coaches Project. First, I'll give you a little history. About a year and a half ago, I went to a program called Design the Life That You Love. This program was put on by my great friend Ayse Birsel, one of the world's top designers, and she wrote a book called Design the Life You Love. In our program, Ayse gave us a challenge. She said, make a list of your heroes. Who are your heroes? And then she said, why are they your heroes? Well, it turned out my heroes were all great teachers who were inspirational people and who were incredibly generous. People like Mulally, the CEO of the Ford Motor Company. In theory, I'm supposed to be his coach. In practice, I learned 10 times from him what he's learned from me. Frances Hesselbein, CEO of the Girl Scouts. Again, in theory, I'm supposed to be her coach. In practice, I'm really learning. Jim Kim, the president of the World Bank. Other great teachers like Peter Drucker, Bob Tannenbaum, Paul Hersey, Warren Bennis. Teachers that really changed my life. And none of these people ever charged me any money for all of the help that they gave me. Ayse then said, why don't you be more like them? I made a decision. I decided I was going to basically adopt 15 people, teach them everything that I know for free, as kind of a mentor, and the only price is when they got old, they would need to do the same thing I did. You get to be a nice old person and give everything away too. This is called pay it forward. Well, as it turned out, I made a little selfie video and put it on LinkedIn. And it's a very short 30-second video, and it just said, my name is Marshall Goldsmith. I got ranked #1 leadership thinker, #1 executive coach. My book's a #1 bestseller. I'm getting old. It's time for me to give back. I'm going to donate everything I know to 15 people, teach them everything I know for free, and the only price is, when you get older, I'm going to ask you to do the same thing. Well, as it turned out, this was the most widely viewed video in the history of LinkedIn. And as it turned out, over 16,000 people applied to be part of our 100 Coaches process, which is just an amazing group. This is a very humbling experience for me, these 16,000 applicants. And I've really tried to focus on selecting great people. I've decided to expand that list from 15 to today's 100. So now we're going to have 100 coaches. I'm going to talk about who these 100 people are. And the way I've selected these people, there's certainly no exact science. I've tried to focus on diversity, people from around the world, people born in many different countries. I've looked at people who have different interests in coaching. Some people are traditional executive coaches, others executives. Some people are more focused on coaching from an academic perspective. Some people are great thinkers. So I've tried to pick a great group of people, and I really love the people I've selected. One thing I've been amazed about of our 100 coaches so far is not that they're smart. I read their bios. I know every one of these people are very smart people. What I've been amazed about is how nice they are as well, how kind, how generous. So what I'd like to do today is announce the list of the 100 coaches. I'm going to announce them not in any sort of rank order. I'm going to list them, though, by category. Then we'll talk about each category of coaches, why they're interested in the topic, and then perhaps just a little bit about why I selected each one of these people to be part of our fantastic 100 Coaches program. Who are the 100 coaches? Well, I want to begin with 3 iconic leaders that are actually part of the inspiration for our 100 Coaches project. Not only are these generous people members of the 100 Coaches, they're teaching all of the 100 coaches. So they're not only extremely smart, extremely accomplished, they're extremely kind and extremely generous. The first person in our 100 Coaches list is a person who I love and is a person who's a true hero to me, Frances Hesselbein. Frances Hesselbein is the former CEO of the Girl Scouts of America and CEO of the Peter Drucker Foundation. Peter Drucker himself said, Frances Hesselbein is the greatest leader I have ever met in my entire life. She did a phenomenal job as turnaround leader for the Girl Scouts, 23 honorary PhDs, editor of an academic journal. Frances Hesselbein, author or editor of 29 books, including edited 6 books with me. She's an amazing, amazing woman. I had the privilege of going to the White House when President Clinton was the president and watched Frances receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest award you can receive as a United States civilian. So the first one of our 100 coaches is my great friend, Frances Hesselbein, a person who I love and respect, and also a wonderful person who's helping teach every other one of the 100 coaches. Second member of our 100 coaches, Alan Mulally. Alan, former CEO of Ford Motor Company, CEO of Boeing Commercial Aircraft. Alan did a spectacular job turning around both Ford and Boeing. Was the CEO of the Year in CEO Magazine. 2014, Fortune said the number 3 greatest leader in the entire world, behind only the Pope and Angela Merkel. Time Magazine, one of the world's 100 most influential people. I would not define Alan Mulally as a great leader. I would define him as an amazing leader, a spectacular leader, and also just a kind and generous person. Alan Mulally himself is donating his time. He has spent about 6 hours so far with each group of coaches. He's made a personal commitment to train every one of these people. Just being around him is such a wonderful learning experience for me, and I'm so happy and proud that he's able to work with the 100 Coaches Project. The third great iconic leader and hero of mine who's part of our 100 Coaches Project is Dr. Jim Kim. Dr. Jim Kim is the 12th president of the World Bank. His mission is the eradication of extreme poverty on Earth. U.S. News and World Report said one of America's 25 best leaders. Dr. Jim Kim was formerly in charge of Partners in Health, has done some groundbreaking work that has led to the saving of perhaps tens of millions of lives over his career. Just an amazing man. After being in Partners at Health, he was president of Dartmouth College before moving over to be head of the World Bank. Dr. Jim Kim himself has personally hosted 100 coaches meetings, has spoken to the 100 coaches, and is committed to personally spend time talking to each of the 100 coaches, which to me is just an amazing gift. So the first 3 of our leaders in the 100 Coaches Project are 3 people who are heroes of mine, people I am so proud to know. They are Frances Hesselbein, Alan Mulally, and Jim Kim. 12 of the members of our 100 Coaches Project have been recognized by Thinkers 50 for their outstanding contributions to the field of management. Thinkers 50 has an award ceremony in London that I've had the privilege to attend several times, and it's called the Academy Awards of Leadership by The Economist. Thinkers 50 is the world's most reliable resource for identifying, ranking, and sharing the leading management ideas of our age. And who are the contributors in our 100 Coaches Project who are also part of the Thinkers 50? Well, everyone in Thinkers 50 is not someone who would necessarily be interested in this project because they have leaders from a wide variety of fields, some of them not closely connected to coaching. On the other hand, we have 12 wonderful people who have been recognized by Thinkers 50. I'd like to identify them as part of our 100 coaches. Alex Osterwalder, co-founder of Strategizer, the lead author of Business Model Generation and Value Proposition Design, which sold over 1 million copies in 37 languages. An authority on new technology, on communication. Alex also a very young guy, an amazing person, probably one of the youngest people on Thinkers 50 himself. Very honored to have him be part of 100 Coaches. Rita McGrath has been selected as the world's #1 strategic thinker by Thinkers 50. She was voted by HR Magazine as one of the most influential international thinkers in the world. She's on the faculty of Columbia Business School. Rita is a great friend of mine, an authority in our field, and Rita is graciously donating her time to be not only a member of Thinkers 50, also a faculty member of Thinkers 50, who's going to be teaching the other Thinkers 50 members what she knows about strategy. A fantastic gift. Herminia Ibarra. Herminia is the Charles Handy Professor of Organizational Behavior at London Business School. She's a best-selling author. She's been a professor at INSEAD, a professor at Harvard. She's been recognized as the #1 leadership thinker in the world. Whitney Johnson is the author of the critically acclaimed Disrupt Yourself. She's a co-founder of Rose Park Advisors, an expert in the area of disruptive innovation, a leading thinker in the world of strategy and breakthrough innovation. Liz Wiseman is the author of the best-selling books Rookie Smarts and Multipliers. She teaches leadership to executives and emerging leaders from around the world. She's also a world-leading researcher on the impact of leadership in organizations, and I would say she's one of the top external researchers in the world, and she really sees the value of not just university providing outstanding research, independent thinkers like her providing outstanding research. Martin Lindstrom has been recognized by Time magazine as one of the world's 100 most influential people. He's the author of several New York Times and Wall Street Journal best-selling books. He's a world authority on branding and culture transformation. Tammy Erickson is a McKinsey award-winning author. She's also the academic program director for the London Business School. She's a world authority on the impact of generations in the workplace, how different people, different age groups brought up at different times can have different influences and be impacted in different ways. Stu Friedman is a practice professor of management at the Wharton Business School at the University of Pennsylvania. He's an author of the bestsellers Total Leadership, Leading the Life That You Want. Gianpiero Petriglieri, Associate Professor of Organizational Behavior at INSEAD. He's also the Director of the Management Program, and an interesting background. He's a medical doctor, a psychiatrist, a person who's applying his unique training to the world of leadership, impacting major organizations. David Burkus. David is a best-selling author. He's done a fantastic TED Talk that has been viewed over 1.4 million times. He is a regular contributor to the Harvard Business Review. Recently, he was named as a top 40 under 40 professor who inspires people. This is the list of the top young business school professors in the world. Antonio Nieto Rodriguez. Antonio is author of the best-selling book, The Focused Organization. He is also the winner of the 2017 Thinkers 50 Award for Ideas into Practice. He's a world authority on project management, and he's working with our 100 coaches in a couple of ways. One, he's helping us manage the project. Who could be better than the world's expert on project management? And two, he's going to be sharing his ideas on project management to show how his work relates to coaching. Deepa Prahalad. Deepa is a fellow in the International Academy of Management and Center for Digital Transformation at the University of California at Irvine. Deepa is a member of the inaugural group of Thinkers 50 in India. 4 fantastic nonprofit CEOs are members of our 100 Coaches Project. The first, Mark Tersick. Mark is the president and CEO of Nature Conservancy, a world leader in global conservation. He's been profiled in the New Yorker and Wall Street Journal. He's an author of a best-selling book called Nature's Fortune. I would highly recommend you read this book. He's also a former managing director and partner at Goldman Sachs. Tony Marks is president and CEO of the New York Public Library, the nation's largest library system. Former president of Amherst College, he's an author of 3 books on nation building. Tony is a person who can make a valuable contribution of talking about the Coaches Project, and we can take information that is known to the 100 coaches and share that information with people from around the world. Raj Shah is president of the Rockefeller Foundation, a medical doctor, 14th administrator, the United States Agency for International Development. He reported to Hillary Clinton when she was Secretary of State, I think at age 37 years old. He's a former chief economist of the Gates Foundation. And one thing I'm very excited about in terms of working with Dr. Raj, he's interested in taking our 100 Coaches movement, our 100 Coaches idea, and applying this in the area of philanthropy, where they have their own 100 coaches. Ashish Advani is the president and CEO of Junior Achievement Worldwide, the largest NGO dedicated to teaching young people about entrepreneurship and financial literacy. He's a former CEO of Covestor and Circle Lending, and Ashish is doing a great job of taking what he's learning from 100 coaches, taking the knowledge of the 100 coaches, recruiting the 100 coaches to train a lot of great future leaders in junior achievement. I'm so happy to say that 3 of the top healthcare leaders in the world are members of our 100 Coaches Project. John Noseworthy, President and CEO of the Mayo Clinic. U.S. News and World Report said #1 hospital in the United States. Fortune magazine, 100 best companies to work for. An amazing, amazing person who has led this organization for years with phenomenal success. A great leader, leading one of the great hospitals in the world. George Staley. Dr. George is Dean of the Harvard Medical School. Recently appointed into this prestigious job, he's the Harvard Medical School Robert Stranahan Professor of Pediatrics. George is a director of the Stem Cell Transplantation Program at the Boston Children's Hospital and also works at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. He's a person who's a fantastic medical doctor who is now dedicated to playing a great leadership role as Dean of Harvard Medical School. James Downing. Dr. Jim is president and CEO of St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. He was instrumental in launching the Pediatric Cancer Genome Project, which Time magazine listed as a top 10 medical breakthrough in the world. If you've ever been to St. Jude's Research Hospital, the work they're doing is amazing. Doing whatever they can do to cure cancer that involves children, it's inspirational. I'm honored to be a volunteer for St. Jude's, and I'm even more honored that Dr. Jim has chosen to be one of our 100 coaches. 4 wonderful corporate CEOs have chosen to be part of our 100 Coaches program. Hubert Joly is the chairman and CEO of Best Buy, a great friend of mine, a wonderful person, a fantastic leader. Before taking over the role as CEO of Best Buy, he was former CEO of Carlson. He's been on the board of directors of Ralph Lauren. The World Economic Forum said, global leader for tomorrow. Glassdoor, 100 top CEOs. Forbes, #1 leader in retail. Hubert Joly is a fantastic leader, a person who really stands out to me in his ability to get feedback from people, to reach out to others and focus on continuous improvement. One of my favorite CEOs in the world, Liz Smith. Liz is a wonderful person, a great leader. She has a great sense of humor. She's chairman and CEO of Bloomin' Brands. Bloomin' Brands includes restaurant concepts like Outback, Fleming's, Carrabba's, Bonefish, one of the world's largest casual dining companies. Before going over to Bloomin' Brands, Liz was president of Avon. She's on the board of directors of Hilton, of UNICEF, great leader, great person, and does an amazing job of not only leading her organization, but contributing to the world. Gary Ridge. Gary's the CEO of WD-40 and has really created an environment that has led to what I think are possibly the #1 rankings I've ever seen in the area of employee engagement. He's a fantastic leader. He's had consistent growth in the company, increased profitability. Gary is the author of a book called Helping People Win at Work. And he has a business philosophy that I love. It's called, don't mark my paper, help me get an A. He's also a top-rated professor at the University of San Diego. Kevin Cook is president and CEO of Cook Enterprises, a holding company that operates 7 distinct businesses. Previously, Kevin was a leader in EDS, Electronic Data Systems, a leader at Ford. Kevin is a great guy, a young guy, highly motivated, and I'm very proud to have him part of our 100 coaches. Along with 4 current CEOs, we have 4 former CEOs who are now business advisors, who I'm very proud are members of 100 coaches. Harry Kramer. Harry Kramer is the former chairman and CEO of Baxter, one of the largest healthcare companies in the world. He is if not the top-rated professor of management and strategy, clinical professor at the Northwestern University Kellogg School of Management. He's the author of best-selling books on leadership, and I'm also proud to say Harry is a guy who constantly gives back. He spends a lot of his life doing work that's related to charity, to helping others, so he's not only a great leader, a great teacher, a great advisor, a great consultant. He's a great person who focuses on giving back to other people. Jeff Slovin. Jeff is the former CEO and director of Dentsply Sirona. He achieved consistent growth, an amazing track record of success for 16 years. Former CEO of Schick Technologies. Jeff has been named as the #1 most influential person in dentistry for 2017. And as well, Jeff is a person who is dedicated not only to being a great leader, he's dedicated to helping others be great leaders and dedicated to giving back. Bill Simpson. Bill is the former CEO of Hersey Entertainment and Resorts Company. He began his career with Hyatt Hotels. He's worked with American Hotel and Lodging Association, where he's a board of directors. Bill is an amazing man. He's a great leader and probably an even better person. A lot of his work at Hersey involved creating profitability that was eventually plowed back into the Hersey Foundation. It was given to help the education of underprivileged children who might not have a great chance if it weren't for him. His organization has produced some fantastic graduates. One of the graduates is Mark Ryder, a great friend of mine and my co-author. Very proud to have Bill as part of our team. Mark Parcells has been the chairman and CEO of 3 different private equity-backed corporations. He's the former president of Citibank Online. He is the former chairman and chief executive officer of Global Debt Registry. A wide variety of experience from small organizations to large, private equity, public corporations. Mark brings a wealth of experience to 100 Coaches. I'm proud to announce that 10 wonderful corporate executives are members of our 100 Coaches program. Ayse Evans is the Senior Vice President and Chief Strategy Officer of the Intel Corporation. Before that, she was the Senior Vice President in terms of wireless communication. Fortune magazine said one of the top future women leaders in America. Along with being a great leader, Ayse is one of the most wonderful people I've ever met. She's been to many of our programs. She's always willing to help out. She not only learns from the other leaders, she helps teach the other leaders. She's a great role model for leadership, not only for women leaders, she's a great role model for any leader. Rob McKinsey. Rob is a great guy. He is the Executive Vice President and Chief Development Officer for Pfizer, one of the world's largest healthcare companies. He's a member of Pfizer's executive leadership team. He is also a great scientist in his own right. He's the co-inventor of a fantastic drug called Enablix. Not only is he a great leader in terms of leading people, he is also a great leader in terms of science, drug development, and technology. Kathleen Wilson Thompson. Kathleen is the Executive Vice President and Global Chief Human Resource Officer of the Walgreens Boots Alliance. Kathleen is also just a wonderful person with a great heart. She's a lawyer. She's focused on giving back. Black Enterprise magazine listed her as one of the top 100 most powerful executives in corporate America and one of the 50 most powerful women in corporate America. Agopal Nasankla. Agopal is the Chief People Officer and Executive Vice President of the Human Capital Group at Thai Beverage, one of the largest organizations in Thailand. Thai Bev, a multi-billion-dollar organization, former Executive VP and Head of Strategy and Transformation at TMB Bank. Mike Sursock. Mike is a great friend and wonderful person, a great supporter of 100 Coaches. He's a person that I've worked with, Alan Mulally has worked with, another member of our group, Santiago, has worked with in the past. He's the Managing Director of Operations Group Baring Private Equity, one of the top private equity organizations in the world. Former CEO of KKR, Capstone for Asia Pacific, advisor and speaker at Dartmouth Tuck School of Business. Mike is doing some amazing work in the area of looking at people interactions, selecting great CEOs, putting together business processes that make a huge difference in private equity companies. Telisa Yancy is the Chief Marketing Officer at American Family Insurance, formerly a leader in automotive industry, retail industry, restaurant, media, innovation, and consulting, and an incredible background in leadership. Telisa brings a wide range of experience, a wide range of knowledge to the 100 Coaches. Deborah Borg. She's the Chief Human Resources and Communications Officer of Bunge Limited. Bunge is one of the largest food organizations, agricultural organizations in the world. Deborah is an amazing person. She's so much fun to be with, great personality, a very giving person. Deborah, one of the great Australians in our group, has had HR and talent development roles with General Motors when she was in Australia. She's a person who brings great corporate experience, great HR experience, great line management experience to 100 coaches. Derek Leonard, Senior Vice President, HR Finance at MasterCard, former HR Director with Pepsi in Central Eastern Europe. He's gained HR experience at Pliva Pharmaceutical Company, now part of the Tiva Group. Derek is a great guy who has a unique perspective on HR. He's a person with vast international experience. He's a person, again, who brings a very different, a very fresh perspective to 100 coaches. Sean McGrath is a great guy. He's a Human Resources Vice President for the World Bank Group. There he reports to my friend Dr. Jim Kim, former HR Director and member of the Executive Management Team at the National Irish Bank. He's a person who combines, one, an outstanding knowledge of HR with, two, a great desire to help the world, to make the world be a better place, and to help the World Bank achieve its objective, the eradication of extreme poverty on Earth. Gregory Engelbert. Gregory is the Vice President, Asia Pacific at Bombardier, focuses on business development and the implementation of new business plans across the region. A great global perspective, a person who is from France, lives in Asia, has experience around the world. University Leadership Development Professionals. 8 of the members of our 100 Coaches project are professionals from leading universities that are focused on developing people. I am incredibly excited about the work done by leading universities. If you look at, for example, MBA graduates, what is the #1 complaint the customers hiring them have? They don't know enough about people. They don't have enough people experience. They're not focused on the importance of people. They're brilliant technicians in most cases. These schools are incredibly hard to get in. On the other hand, they're not that good at dealing with people. I am so excited at the innovative programs provided some of the top universities in terms of coaching, in terms of leadership development, and I'm very proud to have 8 of the top professionals in this field associated with our 100 Coaches project. Dr. Praveen Kopali is the Associate Dean of the MBA program. He's also the Signal Company's Professor of Management and Marketing at the Tuck School of Business from Dartmouth College. An amazing, amazing man. Praveen leads Tuck's incredibly innovative coaching program. It's a program where every MBA student not only gets a coach, many of the MBA students actually end up becoming coaches and helping others. In this way, it's a self-reinforcing program, one of the real creative, innovative coaching efforts I've ever seen. Praveen is doing a great job at the Dartmouth Tuck School. Very honored to have him be a part of a 100 Coaches project. He's not only a member of our group, he's a leader in the group who's working to help us develop the other 100 coaches. Tom Kolditz, a great guy, a Brigadier General in the United States Army, very proud of all of he's done, a winner of the Distinguished Service Medal. He leads a fantastic program at the Doerr Institute for New Leaders in Rice University. He is doing some groundbreaking work in providing university-wide coaching. He led the leadership department at West Point, and now he's developing future leaders at Rice. What I'm excited about is the work he's doing throughout the university, not just the business school. He's working throughout the university to provide coaching, to provide development for the great students at Rice. Sanyin Xiang. Sanyin is a wonderful person, a great friend. I love working with her. She's the executive director of the Duke University Fuqua Coach K Center on Leadership and Ethics, called COLE. She's an author of the book, The Launch Book. She was listed in LinkedIn as one of the top voices among all LinkedIn influencers. Sanyin has a wonderful spirit of life. She is a coach, she's training coaches. She is a leader, she's training leaders, and she's also giving back. Annie McKee is one of the top executive coaches in the world. She's also a senior fellow at the University of Pennsylvania, where she teaches and leads the Penn CLO Executive Doctoral Program. She's the author of Management, A Focus on Leaders. Annie is a person who is developing the chief learning officers of the future. She's a person who's developing leaders who train other leaders. She's developing educators who ultimately educate other people. Through her leverage, she's making an incredible positive difference in the world. Clark Callahan. Clark is a great guy, a wonderful friend, Managing Director, Custom Programs, Harvard Business School. He focuses on executive education, formerly led the growth of executive education at the Tuck School of Business at Dartmouth, where I originally met him. Clark is a person who is also a gifted coach, a teacher in his own right, a great developer of people, and a person who also excels in helping others develop people. Diane Ryan retired as a colonel in the United States Army. She worked at West Point, where she did a great job of being one of the top leaders in their leadership development effort. Diane is Associate Dean, Programs and Administration at Tufts University. She's a leader in the field of developing leaders. She has a PhD in the field, and she's just a wonderful person to work with who has a spirit of giving that's been just a blessing to all of us at 100 Coaches. Bernie Banks, just a wonderful person. Brigadier General of the United States Army, Associate Dean, Leadership Development, Clinical Professor of Management at Northwestern University. Led West Point's Department of Behavioral Sciences and Leadership. He did a great job of developing people in the Army. He's doing a great job now of developing leaders around the world. Paul Corona, a great teacher, Clinical Associate Professor of Leadership at Northwestern University Kellogg School. He's director of the full-time MBA Leadership Development Program. He's a builder of global brands. He's worked building brands such as Alka-Seltzer, Chevrolet, Deloitte, and Touche. So he brings not only a leadership background into the organization, he brings the ability to build a brand that can be useful not only to people in corporations, but also to our 100 coaches. In our 100 Coaches project, we have coaches from a variety of related disciplines. We have external coaches. We have external leadership development professors. We have college university development professors. We also have internal leadership development professors. These are people who work inside corporations and are doing a great job of developing leaders in those organizations. David Peterson. David is a director, Center of Expertise, Leadership Development and Executive Coaching for Google. David, one of the top coaches in the world for years. He served as leader of worldwide coaching services for PDI, Ninth House. He's an accomplished author. He's a fantastic coach. He's also doing a wonderful job of leading a coaching program in Google, one of the most valuable companies in the world. Lainey Jolson Cohen is the Director of Leadership, Executive, and Professional Development for North America, as well as the Global Business Relationship Management Leader for Citicorp. She's on the faculty of NYU School of Professional Studies. Lainey has a great attitude toward life, a fantastic developer of people, and a person who's making a huge contribution to our 100 Coaches project. Prakash Raman is an executive development at LinkedIn. He's a coach, he's a facilitator. He focuses on leadership, values, mindfulness, and teamwork. Formerly a Division I athlete, a top tennis player in the United States, Prakash brings a wide variety of background into 100 Coaches. He understands the social media world, which is becoming more and more important. He understands developing people, he understands building leaders, and is making a great contribution to our organization. Ronnie Miles. Ronnie is a great guy, manager organizational development at the Federal Reserve Board, former global HR business partner at EMD Millipore, senior level OD partner at Fannie Mae and Waste Management. Ronnie is a person who's worked with some brilliant people, an organization filled with PhDs, and has learned some of the challenges of developing leaders in an organization that is filled with knowledge workers. Jasmine Thompson. Jasmine is a leadership coach of MBA students at Dartmouth College, Tuck School of Business. She leads leadership development and engagement at the Children's Hospital in Los Angeles, an organization that's doing some Amazing work. Now, Jasmine is also the person that I talk to every day. She's my co-coach. We try to help each other get better. She's making a great contribution to my life, and she's making a great contribution to our 100 Coaches Project. Patricia Gordon. Tricia is Director of Global Leadership and Talent Development for the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation, DTCE, a former SVP at Citigroup in both marketing and business development roles. She brings to our 100 Coaches organization, again, great combination of line experience, staff experience, being a leader, developing leaders, and on top of that, she's just so much fun and a great person to be around. Bonita Thompson. Bonita, a brilliant person. She's creator of the very innovative What's Next game. She's a leading innovator in HR for over 25 years, New York Times bestselling author of Admired, 21 Ways to Double Your Value. Bonita is a person who is now studying how to create great human leadership organizations. Bonita is now studying the process of being a great chief learning officer and creating organizations where people focus on continuous learning in the new world. Deanne Kissinger is Vice President, Global Talent Management at Diversey, Inc., formerly in sales and sales management for pharmaceutical organizations, including GlaxoSmithKline. She's worked in the US, she's worked in the UK, she has great global experience, a young person who's growing rapidly in the field and making a wonderful contribution to 100 Coaches. Wendy Greason. Wendy is Vice President, Global Learning and Development for Cielo. Earlier, she was at Arthur J. Gallagher, where she was recognized for incredible work in developing understanding of coaching, research on leadership development, the importance of follow-up, and recognized for her work by Harvard Business Publishing. One category in our 100 Coaches is external leadership development professionals. These are people outside of the organization who develop leaders inside the organization. We have 10 fantastic external leadership development professionals represented in the 100 Coaches. Michael Bunge Stanier, a person with a great spirit of life, author of several books, including the Wall Street Journal bestseller, The Coaching Habit, Canadian Coach of the Year, Rhodes Scholar, recently recognized in Global Gurus as the #3 coach in the world. Gabriella Teasdale, a fantastic person with a wonderful spirit of life. She's president of the Foundation for Transformation, CEO of the Paraguay Leadership Team, a professional training and coaching organization. Not only does she do a great job of training leaders in corporations, in coaching leaders in corporations, she does an amazing amount of volunteer work, donating her time to develop leaders in her country, has developed thousands of young people in terms of being leaders. She's developing coaches. I'm very proud to have her as a member of our 100 Coach organization. Molly Shang. Along with her leadership development work for corporations, Molly does an incredible amount of work providing consulting for free. She works for the NYU Reynolds Program for Social Entrepreneurship. She does extensive pro bono work for great causes around the city of New York. She provides a great spirit to our 100 Coaches organization. Lou Carter. Lou Carter is the CEO of Best Practice Institute. He's a top advisor to C-level executives of major companies, author of 10 books, including Change Champions Field Guide, and his newest book, In Great Company. He's a person who studied organization, understands what they do well, what they don't do well, and an expert on many facets involved with developing people. Pavel Motyl, formerly CEO of ICANN Institute, he worked with Harvard Business Review in Poland. He led their publishing organization and executive education. He's a leading European expert on decision-making, leadership, talent management, and provides a very fresh and unique perspective to our 100 Coaches. Tasha Eurich has been named as a top 100 thought leader by Trust Across America and a leader to watch by the American Management Association. Dr. Eurich's first book, Bankable Leadership, was a New York Times bestseller, a younger person who provides a very fresh and unique perspective to our 100 Coaches. David Noor. David, who goes by Noor in most cases, has developed leaders in global companies such as Disney, Cisco Systems, Deloitte Consulting, IBM, a featured writer in the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Fast Company, published author, leading consultant, international contributor. From Iran provides, again, a unique perspective for our 100 coaches. Edie Greenblatt. Edie is the author of the award-winning book, Restore Yourself, the antidote for professional exhaustion. She's a pioneering expert in resilience coaching, and she's helping our 100 coaches to look at our own lives and to focus on how we too can be more resilient in our own work and our own job as coaches and our own lives as family members. Anu Oza brings a great breadth of experience to 100 coaches. She led the leadership development practice at both Mercer and Accenture, two of the top organizations in the world. She's a teacher and session leader at the Research Foundation at Harvard University and Columbia University, and she has worked with a lot of top leaders, a wide range of education. In Europe, she's worked in America, she's worked in India, looking at different perspectives on leadership, looking at different perspectives on how to develop people. Terry Jackson, a wonderful man, an outstanding consultant, brings a great spirit and knowledge base to 100 coaches. He's consulted with major companies such as the Southern Corporation, ExxonMobil, Bristol-Myers Squibb, New York Life. He's currently working on some fascinating work in Pakistan with the government on several different consulting projects. So again, very happy to have Terry as part of our 100 coaches. 10 of the members of our 100 coaches team are already 10 of the most successful executive coaches in the world. I'm very proud that each one of these people has decided to join our team for two reasons. One, hopefully to learn. Two, probably even more important, to teach. To help the other coaches learn what they already know as fantastic leaders, fantastic executive coaches. Carol Kauffman. Carol is the founder of the Institute of Coaching. She's an assistant professor at Harvard Medical School. Her Leader as Coach training has received Harvard's inaugural program award for culture of excellence in mentoring. A great mentor, a great coach, and a great teacher. Sergei Sirotenko, a leading executive coach from Russia, served as Director of Leadership Development at Yale. He's taught interpersonal and group dynamics at the Yale School of Management. He is a coach who is doing a great job not only in working in Russia and coaching leaders from Russia, he's coaching leaders from around the world. Kara Jukaram. Kara is a leading executive coach in Southeast Asia, was recognized as one of the 10 Wonder Women in Business by Women Plus magazine. Kara is leading some fantastic coaching efforts in Thailand. Not only a great coach, also a person who's training other people to be great coaches. Judith Glazer. Judith is chairman of the Creating We Institute. She's the best-selling author of 7 business books, including Conversational Intelligence, How Great Leaders Build Trust and Get Extraordinary Results. She's a top 10 global coach. She's a great speaker. She's a great author. I've made videos with her. She's making a great contribution to 100 coaches. Peter Chi. Dr. Chi is president and CEO of ITD World, an organization that is providing leadership development and coaching throughout Asia. He is the developer of the Certified Coaching and Mentoring Professional Program, and he has been recognized as the #1 coach in Asia. Hortense Le Hentel, a leading executive coach in Western Europe. She helps leaders understand their personal identity, and she positively facilitates change in leadership behavior. By helping people understand who they are, their personal identity, she works with them to establish who do you want to become and how do you become this person. Rita Nathwani, a leading Singapore-based executive coach. Rita is an authority on emotional intelligence and solutions-focused coaching. She is a leader in an organization called Board Agenda, which promotes inclusive, gender-balanced business She's a great person. She has a wonderful spirit of life. She manages leadership development programs. She is a coach, and she's training others to get better. Elisa Cohn, ranked as one of the top 10 coaches in Boston in women's business. She's an executive coach for CEO, for emerging leaders, for entrepreneurs. She works at Cornell University Entrepreneurship Advisory Board, and she's on the faculty of Cornell Tech. She has a broad experience of coaching from startups, mid-sized businesses, to major corporate executives. Philippe Grahl is a French national and a leading executive coach in Japan. Philippe specializes in group coaching for board members. He facilitates workshops on vision, mission, and values integration. In putting together our 100 coaches list, one category of people we found interested in the concept of coaching are people I would call strategy and culture advisors. In putting together our list of 100 great people, we tried to get people who both are macro-level thinkers, people who look a little bit more at the big picture, and micro-level thinkers, people who are looking at more of the interpersonal, the day-to-day operation. Let's look at our list of 8 great strategy and culture advisors. Keith Ferrazzi. Keith is a great guy, a wonderful thinker, one of the best-selling authors in our list. Keith addresses behaviors that block the achievement of strategic goals. His best-selling book is called Who's Got Your Back? And also the very, very famous book, Never Eat Alone. He's published in the Wall Street Journal, HBR, Inc. magazine, and Fast Company magazine. He is a person who's very much attuned to strategic thinking for the new world and making that connection between the thinking strategy, the big strategy, and the personal behavior. Chester Elton. He's been recognized as a top global guru in 2 fields. 1, leadership, and 2, organizational culture. He could actually be in more than one category of our 100 coaches list. He is a co-author of not 1, but 5 New York Times best-selling business books, including The Carrot Principles, The Orange Revolution, and All In. Also, a fantastic sense of humor, a great speaker, and just a great guy to be around. Dorie Clark, a marketing strategy consultant, a professional speaker, and author of Entrepreneurial You, talking about taking that entrepreneurial spirit and applying it not only in the classic entrepreneurial organization, but anywhere you want to work. She's worked with great clients including Google, the World Bank, the Ford Foundation, Yale, and she teaches at the Duke University Fuqua School of Business. Erica Dewan. Erica is the co-author of the big bestseller, Getting Things Done, The Power of Connectional Intelligence. She's been ranked #1 on what corporate America is reading today. She's a research fellow at Harvard Center for Public Leadership. Erica also is a fascinating person who knows about Indian culture and actually teaches Indian dancing, so she has some unique qualities aside from being one of the top coaches. Claire Diaz-Ortiz, a technology innovator, a speaker. She's led social innovation at Twitter. She's an award-winning author of 8 books, including 1 Minute Mentoring with my great friend Ken Blanchard. Fast Company has identified her as one of the 100 most creative people in business. Jeff Kuhn. Jeff is a distinguished thinker. He's an author, an advisor, and a speaker with expertise in strategy, innovation, growth, and organizational renewal. He's an author as well. He's the author of Beyond the Mirage, Strategic Leadership in the New Market Landscape. Denise Parati-Hummel, an expert on the connection between inclusion and business performance. She's an author, a TED Talk finalist, HBA board member, and chair of Athena's Life Sciences Committee. Himanshu Saxena. Himanshu, strategic mindset, a person that is, I'd call a design thinker, a person who's a mindfulness practitioner, a leading thinker in India. He was appointed a business coach for industry vertical heads, and he's worked with a great friend of mine, his mentor, Professor Vijay Govindarajan from the Tuck School of Business. One category in our 100 coaches list is called strategy to execution advisors. Some people on the list are people who specialize in the big picture, strategy, people like Rita McGrath. Other people are focused more on micro-level issues, individual leadership behavior, people like me. And then there are a group of people who are kind of bridging that gap. I'd call these people strategy to execution advisors. Sandy Ogg. Santiago is a leading expert in matching talent to value. Former operating partner at Blackstone, Chief Human Resource Officer for Unilever, he's the author of The CEO's Playbook for Capturing Value. Sandy has put together a process that I would define as brilliant. What's my definition of brilliant? When someone explains something to you that seems obvious, you think everyone should do it, yet no one's doing it. His talent to value process is one of the most brilliant systems I have ever seen. I'm working with him to implement this around the world. Great guy and a wonderful thought leader. Mark Thompson is one of the most versatile people on our 100 coaches list. He's a New York Times bestselling author. He is an executive coach. He's an investor. He's an advisor. He works with leaders who are transforming their companies. He's worked with people from Virgin's Richard Branson, Apple's Steve Jobs, Pinterest founder Evan Sharp. Mark Thompson also is a person who, number one, is a great person, does a ton of volunteer work, is reaching out to help others. Great author. In fact, he could probably be on about 5 different categories in the 100 coaches. Marcia Blinko, a brilliant, brilliant advisor. She's an advisory partner at Bain & Company, one of the real drivers of the Bain organization. Her focus is on organization, decision effectiveness, and leadership. She's the author of Decide and Deliver, 5 Steps to Breakthrough Performance in Your Organization. Very honored to have her be one of our 100 coaches. Dr. Bob Nelson has been recognized as a top thought leader by the Best Practices Institute, has sold 5 million books on management, employee engagement, motivation, including 1,500 ways to reward employees. He has multiple books that are practical, they make a difference, and can be applied just like that. Price Pritchett. I'm very honored to have Price Pritchett be one of our 100 coaches. He's a best-selling author of 26 books, which are published over 10 million times. He's a pioneering thought leader on merger integration, strategy, corporate culture, innovation, and organizational change. And again, a real expert on mergers, acquisitions, and how to make it work. Peter Brigman. Peter is an authority in strengthening leadership in people and in organizations. He's an author of the Wall Street Journal bestseller, 18 Minutes, along with some other books. He's also the host of the Brigman Leadership Podcast, one of the top leadership podcasts in the world. One category in our 100 coaches list is entrepreneurs. Very proud to say that we have 3 wonderful entrepreneurs on our list. My great friend, Eric Schoenberg, who is the leader of both Inc. and Fast Company magazines, helped me nominate some entrepreneurs, put together a group of great people. And who are these 3? Faizi Fatahi. Faizi is an Inc. nominee, a pioneer, and he is a pioneer in the world of cloud consulting. He's expert in cloud consulting. He knows about technology. He's the CEO of Corent Technologies. He's a student of leadership and, in fact, a student of life. He's a person I've had the privilege of working with before. He's the author of the 10X Innovation Revolution, and he's a person who's putting together new technology that I think can change the world. Pune Mahajer, #1 nominee from Inc. magazine. She's a visionary entrepreneur. She's the CEO and co-founder of Tokidoki, a fascinating organization that is taking off around the world. As a teenager, she co-founded a company called Hard Candy, which she successfully sold to LVMH. She's a great entrepreneur. She has a great spirit of life. And now she's studying to help other people be great entrepreneurs. Michelle Kripalani is president and CEO at Ocean House Media. This is an app development company that focuses on mobile applications. He was ranked by Inc. 500 as one of the fastest growing companies in 2014. Michelle has put together some of the most famous video games ever concocted. He's now working in the space of e-learning. He's putting together mobile apps that people can use to make a positive difference in their lives. I'm very excited to have him work with us on our project on 100 coaches and also help us connect the knowledge of great people with mobile applications that the users can take advantage of every day. In our list of 100 coaches, we've made a real effort to include different size organizations in terms of the coaches who serve them. Some people, like me, serve predominantly huge organizations. I work with giant organizations in the for-profit and not-for-profit world. Not all the time, but that's most of my business. Some serve mid-sized companies, some small and family businesses, some startups. So let's talk about this list of people who work in startups, in small businesses, or people who are family business coaches. Divya Silberman. Fantastic experience in the Silicon Valley. Human resource leader at technology startups, including Facebook and Eventbrite. Divya was Facebook's first HR selection. She has led global people programs. She's been an HR business partner. She's been a CFO. And she does a fantastic job of helping people in startup businesses, as well as people whose businesses have begun to take off and are in their growth phase. Everett Alexander. Everett, a chief investment officer, formerly worked at Invesco, has spent more than 15 years investing in industries such as healthcare, energy, industrials, technology. Now is really focused on helping families. He's a family business coach who's helping families not only with their investment strategy, but with their personal strategy for life. Bryan Miller. Bryan is a leadership and family business coach. He's held leadership roles, the Larry H. Miller Group of companies. He wrote the award-winning book, Behind the Drive. Now, Bryan is a person who really understands a variety of ways of looking at leadership. He has studied more of the motivational side of the business and how people motivate others. He's studied the behavioral change part of the business, how you get people to change behavior. And he's now working together to put together an offering that he thinks can impact people, not only in family businesses, in a wide range of businesses. Doug Winnie. Doug Winnie is arguably the top small business coach in the world. He works with Action Coach. He's one of their top people. He's built and sold several of his own multi-million-dollar companies. He now teaches business owners how to do the same thing that he's done. Donnie Dillon. Donnie is the founder and CEO of London Business Coach and a partner with Action Coach. He was recognized as the youngest director at GlaxoSmithKline. He's been an active director, he's been a consultant, he is now a small business coach, and I would say if you look at Europe, Western Europe, England, one of the top business coaches in the entire region. David Gallimore. David has led 7 successful startups inside wonderful organizations like Boeing, Capgemini, and IBM. He co-founded a business law school clinic at Seattle University based on the model of Grameen Bank, micro-lending. And he's using the same model to talk about how you can use a model that works in small business and transfer this to create entrepreneurial spirit inside any organization. One category of our 100 coaches is what I call personal leadership thinkers. These are people that are really going to help you plan your life. People, they're going to challenge you to think about what's really important and how you can make a difference in your own future. The first one of our personal leadership thinkers is Tal Ben-Shahar. He's a co-founder and chief content officer of Happiness Studies Academy. He has taught 2 of the most popular courses in Harvard's history, Positive Psychology and the Psychology of Leadership. He's a best-selling author. He's published several books, one of the world's authorities on how to be happy. Srikumar Rao. Srikumar Rao, a great author, one of the greatest business school teachers who has ever lived. He's the developer of one of the most popular courses ever taught at top business schools. He has taught at Kellogg, he's taught at Columbia, he's taught at UC Berkeley, he's taught at the London Business School. He's an author of Are You Ready to Succeed and Happiness at Work. Srikumar teaches very practical, very positive things that you can take back and use in order to lead a better life and to achieve both happiness and meaning. Julie Carrier, she's the CEO of Girls Lead. She supports many organizations around the world that support girls, that support youth. She's worked with the United Nations Foundation, the Girl Scouts, Future Leaders of Business. She's making a great connection between the great work many of the leaders are doing in this process, many of the thought leaders, many of the people teaching leadership, and how to apply these concepts for young people, and especially for girls. Julie Rosenberg. Julie is one of our medical doctors. She's a physician, executive, and healthcare leader at Pfizer. She's the author of Beyond the Mat, a wonderful person in terms of understanding how Eastern philosophy can help you achieve focus, achieve presence, enlighten leadership. She talks about yoga and also a practical connection between how to use ancient philosophy, yoga, Eastern philosophy, and how that applies to day-to-day life and how that can help any of us have better lives. One category we have in our 100 coaches is called Fascinating Leaders from Diverse Fields. A great advantage of our 100 Coaches project is putting great people together to get to know each other. One thing I've really strived for is diversity, different types of coaches, different types of people, and really looking for some people who, to be honest, or just have fun to have dinner with and talk about their lives. People are doing fascinating things they can share with others. Ayse Birsel, one of the most brilliant, fascinating people I've ever met. Fast Company magazine ranked her one of the world's top 15 designers. She's designed everything from furniture to toilet seats, and now she's helping people design their lives. She's the author of Design the Life You Love. She's multiple award winner in the field of design, and also she is the inspiration for me being here. She's the person that put together the program that ultimately led to the 100 Coaches Project. Mitch Carmichael. Mitch is very different from everyone else in the group because he is the Senate President and Lieutenant Governor of West Virginia. He has vast experience from serving on committees of finance, judiciary, education, rules. He's had executive positions before with CityNet. Also a person who is truly dedicated to helping the people he works with, and I'm so excited to work with him about coaching and leadership and how this can apply in a political setting. Jim Citron. Jim is the world leader in executive search. Jim leads the CEO practice at Spencer Stuart. He's a best-selling author of 7 books, including You're in Charge, Now What, The Career Playbook. Jim is also a person who's looking at the concept of coaching. So we can make that connection between, number 1, selecting great leaders, and number 2, developing these great leaders so that they ultimately achieve success in their organizations. Brown Johnson, a wonderful and brilliant representative of 100 Coaches. She's the Executive Vice President and creator of Sesame Workshop, Sesame Street, former President of Animation and Preschool Entertainment at Nickelodeon. She's the recipient of Emmys, Television Critics Award, Peabody Awards, NAACP Image Awards. Creative person, a fantastic person with a totally different view on how coaching can be applied in a wholly different type of entertainment industry. Paul Hill. Paul is the former director of mission operations at NASA. So if you've seen TV shows about those people back in Houston, well, he's that guy. Paul has won 2 presidential awards. He's won awards from NASA for outstanding leadership, for distinguished service. Paul has had a fascinating life. Now what is he doing? He is taking the principles that he learned in his incredibly important role at NASA, Mission Control Director, and applying these principles in a way that we can all benefit. Eric Schoenberg. Eric, a fantastic guy, a brilliant guy. He's the president and editor-in-chief of both Inc. and Fast Company magazines, formerly of CBS Money Watch, bnet.com, managing editor of Money magazine. Eric is really focused on entrepreneurs, small business, and how entrepreneurial spirit, how the small business spirit can make a positive difference in our world. Rob Nail. Rob is a world authority on disruptive technology and the future. He's the CEO and the associate founder of Singularity University. And prior to Singularity, he was a co-founder of Velocity 11. He is former director of Harman. If you've never had the chance to hear Rob speak, you should do it. His presentation on the future is amazing. I've seen him work with incredibly important people, and I have never seen anyone that wasn't dazzled when they walked away. Very inspiring, at the same time, very sobering message about what can the future be. Dave Meltzer. Dave is the CEO of Sports One Marketing, one of the top agents in the world. He is also a fantastic speaker, ranked by Forbes and Entrepreneur magazine as one of the top 5 keynote speakers in America, winner of the 2017 Game Changer of the Year award. If you've ever seen the movie Jerry Maguire, well, that's him. An amazing man with an amazing career. He's met some fantastic people and he's made a huge difference. He's the author of Compassionate Capitalism and Connected to Goodness. Howard Prager, a fantastic, interesting guy, president, Advanced Learning Group, senior leadership and change strategist for the Association of College and Research Librarians. He teaches executive education at the University of Notre Dame, brings a very different and unique perspective to 100 Coaches, and talks about the connection between being a librarian and the great work we're doing as coaching executives. Everybody needs help. And in putting together the 100 Coaches project, I've been blessed. So many people have helped me. The 3 founders of this project, incredible Frances Hesselbein, former CEO of the Girl Scouts, Alan Mulally, former CEO of Ford, Jim Kim, president of World Bank, teaching classes. Great faculty who are part of the 100 Coaches, such as Sandy Ogg, Rob Nail, Mark Tersick, all pitching in to help people get better. Well, we also have people who are operating to make the entire process work. Of our 100 Coaches leadership staff, Scott Osman, he's the CEO of the 100 Coaches Project. He's the director of Good Omen Partners. Previously, Scott served as a key innovator and global director of the Purpose Strategy practice at Landor Associates. Scott is leading the operation of 100 Coaches, talking about the development of technology, currently working on a huge project to take the knowledge of the 100 Coaches and apply it in a way that people can use for learning, for education around the world. Sarah MacArthur is the COO of my group, Marshall Goldsmith, Inc. She leads many exciting projects, including 100 Coaches. She is also a best-selling editor. She's helped with the book Triggers. She's a great author. She's a great thinker. Sarah has a master's degree in publishing and is helping the 100 Coaches connect the work they are doing with a broader audience of consumers. Frank Wagner is the co-founder of Stakeholder-Centered Coaching. He's trained over 2,000 coaches. Frank is the author of Coach's Playbook, The Leader is Coach. Frank is a person who is one of the greatest teachers I've ever met in my life. And Frank is one of the leaders in the process of teaching stakeholder-centered coaching to all of the 100 Coaches, and he's a volunteer. By the way, he is donating his time to make a positive difference to these people who are then donating their time to make a positive difference to the world. Tavo Gottfriedson. Tavo is an executive coach, he's a leadership advisor, and he was the executive producer and vice president for leadership solutions at Skillsoft. He's started businesses, he's managed businesses, he's sold businesses. He's really an expert at connecting great thinkers with new technology. He's interviewed a lot of the top thinkers and leaders from around the world and is a wealth of information himself that he can share with the world to help people become better leaders and better coaches. Howard Morgan. Howard is an executive coach, one of the founders of HRM Possibilities, an organization where he's worked with me, with Ron Campbell, and he is providing especially training around the world. He's taking great concepts and talking about how they can be used to train leaders, not just in one country, in multiple countries. Will Linson. Will is the practice leader for Asia and Europe at Stakeholder Center Coaching. He's a master certified coach. He provides executives with effective business solutions and helps them achieve positive, measurable change in behavior, has done an amazing job of teaching stakeholder-centered leadership coaching around the world, Asia, Europe, so many countries with incredible results. Chris Coffey. Chris leads the stakeholder-centered coaching process with Frank Wagner in the United States. He's an author of The New IQ, how to lead up, how to lead down and across. Chris is a fantastic teacher, and also Chris is one of the great coaches I've ever met. He's a wonderful practitioner of stakeholder-centered coaching with an incredible track record of success. Luke Jorger, digital marketing, audience development. He's the director of content for the 100 Coaches Project. He's responsible for generating millions of followers and billions of video views around the world for a variety of great thinkers, great speakers, and great organizations. Luke is translating the work done by the 100 coaches into content, digestible content that people can take home, they can use, they can look at day after day after day to make a positive difference in people's lives. In conclusion, the 100 Coaches Project has been an amazing experience. I am incredibly proud of the people who've signed up for this project and the huge diversity of experiences. People from CEOs, former CEOs, great thinkers, great coaches, great leaders, wonderful people who have some commonality. Commonality, aside from being very smart and very accomplished, these are people that are very good. People that want to give back. Nobody has to do this project. Why am I doing it? This is a legacy project for me. I want to teach all I know to 100 people, and the only price is when they get older, maybe they can do the same thing. Well, this project has produced several unintended positive consequences that I never considered. I think the deepest one is this. The biggest winner in this project has not been any of the 100 coaches. It's been me. My goal was to give everything I know to 100 people so they could give it back to others. The real winner has been me. It's been such a joy to interact with these people. It's been such a blessing for me. I've already learned so much that there's one thing I didn't understand before. The greatest gift I can give any of the 100 coaches is to do the same thing I'm doing. To surround themselves with brilliant people, with good people who want to help others, to share everything they know. That is the biggest gift. And you may not be one of the 100 coaches, and you probably aren't. There's one thing I can say, there's no reason you can't do the same thing in your own life. Pick somebody that you'd like to help. Share everything you know with them. Don't have any expectations. Don't have any guilt. Don't talk about money. Just give it away with one goal. Say, you know what? I'm going to give everything I have to you. The only thing I'd like you to do, maybe when you get a little older, is do the same thing for others. I think you're going to find that the greatest winner in this process is not going to be the person that you're trying to help. The greatest winner in this process is going to be you.